Hello, BookTube. I'm here for a live for my 2K Q&A, and Aaron is here to help me to read off the questions. I'll wait a few moments before I start, just to make sure anybody sort of gets in here. Because yeah, well, it looks like there's now two. But yeah, so any other questions? We'll go through the questions that had been given so far. And then if there's any other questions, then feel free to put them up, but I won't address them until we get through the ones that have already been done. And there's a couple questions that have been emailed to me as well. So those will be added to the list also. Okay, well, we had two and then now one. Somebody scarpered.
I
Now
know it's
three.
all right. Slowly making the way up.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh,
Hi, Jim. Yeah.
Jim,
Oh, Jenny. Hi, Jenny.
Jenny.
And yeah, so what we'll do is I guess we'll start now. At least we got the most well, some of the most important people here already. So I don't know who the third one is, but I'll take it off. So yeah, so Aaron, we're gonna do them in, I guess, the order more or less of how they came in.
Yeah. So the first one is from James Rucola. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I should say, if I mispronounce your name, I do apologise. I'll try and get him right.
Yeah, I remember he did say how it was pronounced
Yeah.
um, at some point during a live discussion or something. But I do apologize. I don't remember, and I'd probably make it screw it up anyway. And Mark's here. He's actually
Oh,
stayed awake.
I know it's a bit late for him on a school night. Right. James's question is: Hi, Sean. Congratulations on the 2K. Have you enjoyed any modern screenings of silent classics with new music? I saw some years ago, and it was always a gamble whether the composer wanted to enhance the film or show off.
Yeah, that is can be an issue. I've been lucky on the ones that I've seen have been really good. Um, I've been to a few the British silent film festivals, and a lot of those are just piano, but they're people like Neil Brand that's doing it, who really understands silent film as a composer as well, and other ones. But I have seen there was a time, or I'm not can't remember exactly when it was, but they streamed a live from South Bank, from the National Theatre cinema, and a woman who did the live music with it, and it was just horrible. It was like nothing related to it. But yeah, but no, the ones that I've seen have been really good. I've seen Napoleon twice, the Abel Gantz's Napoleon, with Carl Davis's music live, and I seen him doing Modern Times in Liverpool with the Liverpool Orchestra, and I also saw him do Ben Hur, the original Ben Hur, and that was just fabulous. He is really really good at doing like orchestral music for silence. And then I've seen a lot with Neil Brand. I've sat through 5.5 hours of him doing the 1925 um, Les Miserables on piano, and that was really really good. Um, but yeah, Alex Day said, "Did you see the boat?" Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it twice live at the what is it? I was going to say Super Bowl, but it's not. It's the Royal Festival Hall at South Bank. And Amelia Johansson is here. Hello, yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I was.
Oh,
Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. We blinked out for a second. Uh, yeah, so I have seen a lot, and other ones. I've seen some others. I'm trying to think of some of the names now. Some of the names escape me, but I've been really lucky, and I've seen really good live accompaniment with silent films.
yeah. Okay. The next one is from Jenny, who's in the chat. Congrats on the milestone. What 3 books would you love to be able to reread again for the first time?
Yeah, when I first read that, I'm going, "Oh my God, that's such a difficult question." And then all of a sudden it just clicked, and I go, "Well, no, it's not. It's actually very, very easy to do." And it's Les Miserables. I would love to read it first, but I'd love to uh, read the new Christine Doniger one. Would have been like the first time. Well, it was the first time in a sense. I read her last in January of 2023. 20 yeah, last year, 2023. And then I'm going to read it again, at least I hope to, in April.
Yeah.
And the next one is City by Clifford Simak. That would be nice to sort of read it again for the very first time. I'm on, I don't know how many times now. It must be over 30 times that I've read it now over the years. And the other one would be Hyperion. And I won't, I'll say the Hyperion Cantos rather than just the first book. But I've read that like now well, 4 or 5 times, I think, the first 2 books, and probably 4 times, I think, the last 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, and yeah, Carl Davis gets like a lot of standing ovations for his live accompaniments. Oh, you are joking, I think, aren't you? And you probably never heard me talk about City either, or Les Miserables.
Okay. The next question, or I should say 2 questions. What I'll do is I'll ask them. I'll ask the first one, get your answer, and then I'll ask you the next one.
Okay.
So this is from Lisa Garrity. Congratulations. What is the most recent published book that you have enjoyed?
Yeah, that's a little difficult one. There's a few that I've kind of well, I'll say enjoyed, not loved, but enjoyed. And it was a prequel to oh, I can't even I had the name in my head and now it's gone, but it was called, but the book that I read was Fractal by Christopher Paolini, and it was a prequel. I had problems with it, but there was a lot of intriguing things that I was interested in, and makes me want to read his bigger book, and I can't remember the name of it now. Sleep and something or something. I can't remember now, but people probably will know and put it up through in the chat there. Um, and there was another 2. It's supposed to be a trilogy, and again, it slipped my mind. I read them last year. Well, I read them both last year, but the other one I read, the second one, was so close. It was like a day or 2 after it was published. So it's probably the first time in decades, like literally 40 or 50 years, that I read something so close to publication. And it was about the mafia. It started out in Boston, and then it went to LA, and I just can't remember the guy's name, but he's supposed to do a third one. And again, I had problems with it, but it was a very enjoyable read. It was a very fast paced and enjoyable read.
Okay. It wasn't a James Elroy book. What? By
No,
James Elroy. No.
I just can't think of the guy's name. Don Winslow. Yes, thank you, Freeman. Yeah, because you sent me them. Yeah, you sent me all 3 of them, I think, actually. So yeah, so those were really good picks. Like, I did enjoy them. I did enjoy them. I they're not ones that I would put up there as the greatest books that I've ever read, but they were definitely enjoyable. And Jenny was saying yes. You've read To Sleep in the Sea of Stars. Yeah. See, you've not. Sorry. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm trying to read it at the same time as talking. And but yeah, I do want to read it for this. It's the third one's out already. I guess it's a year now. Well, I'll have to get you my address, Freeman. Send me an email and I'll give you my new address for you to do that, because I don't have it on the anywhere else. And but yeah, no, thank you. That would be kind of neat to have to read all three of them. Um, okay. Next question, I guess.
Right. Do you have a new author that you've just started reading?
Yeah, that's a little. I can't think of anything that I like. Well, I guess these were new authors that I'm talking about. The Don Winslow were new authors, and the Christopher Paolini, and I do want to read the To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini,
Yeah.
and there's more stuff probably by Don Winslow that I would read eventually, but I'm not going to seek it out specifically. But because the third one of this trilogy is, you start with something and you want to see how it ends. The only other author that I'm sort of geared up to want to read, it's not a new author for me, but it's something I want to explore a little more, is Gordon R. Dickson. And I've read some in the past, and in a recent book haul that I did, I've got uh, quite a few of them, and he wrote like maybe 60 books. So I do want to sort of delve into that, but he's not quite new, and I can't think of anybody else and he's not a new author either. Like
Yeah.
he was writing quite a while ago. But yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that, really, or a proper answer. That's you would think, because the whole thing was that I was starting to do this. Will Shawn like it? And that's what I'd like to bring back. And it was sort of newly published books, and everyone that I've done that with, I've enjoyed, but sort of nothing that I would say, oh, this is somebody that I got to read everything of. It's like, yeah, I enjoyed it, but and I really am looking for it. It's like the Hyperion. I keep saying that I'm looking for the next Hyperion high with science fiction book. Like, there's nothing since I've read Hyperion that matches that, and I'm on the lookout for it. Like, whether it's an old book or a new one, and I it's sort of, you read to a certain point, and you get this, that your favorite, and then you want something better, but it's hard to even get to that plateau at times, or at least for me it is.
Right. The next questions are from Grix. So
Yeah, quite a few of them there.
oh, yeah. You've got to just count up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 altogether. So it goes. Congratulations. For the occasion, I'm going to bury you in questions. So his first question is, which is your favourite general history book?
Yeah, that's you got some difficult answers or questions there, Grix. That took me a long time, and I didn't quite know how to answer this, because I was thinking like general history. So do you mean like, I'm thinking sort of general world history, and there are ones, and and I think I've got an answer to this, but this is sort of my thought process for it. It was like, okay, what books have I read or reread more often? And there was one that was history. It was an ancient history book by Chester Starr, which I really liked, and I read that many times, but quite a long time ago, and I really enjoyed that. And then there was Seton Lloyd's The Archaeology of Mesopotamia, that I read many, many times. Um, there is Samuel Noah Kramer's The Sumerians, Their History and Culture, I think it was called, that I read many, many times. But the one I think that I read the most of, and I actually do, well, I have the Seton Lloyd's Archaeology of Mesopotamia somewhere, but I also recently, like when I say recently, in the last 4 years, bought Gods, Graves, and Scholars, um, uh, from uh, C.W. Saram. It's sort of his pseudonym, but it's a history of sort of archaeology or archaeologists, and I've read that many times, and I want to read it again. So that's the one I would say, the general history of the God's Graves and Scholars. I think that's the best answer that I can give, and it's the most. It's the one I think I've read the most, or as many times.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next question is, which classic did you find most disappointing?
Yeah, again, that was, well, I could flippantly say recently was War and Peace, but I won't say that because I haven't finished it. I only read like 32 pages, and I just wasn't in the frame of mind to read it. I might It might turn around for me, but I think the ones that I remember from the past, and I've said this over and over, is the Jane Austens that I didn't like, but I do want to, and I've got them all. They were sent to me to reread, to reevaluate, and I only got part way through Sense and Sensibility, and that still didn't do anything for me. But I still want to read through all her books as well. And the other one was Stendhal's The Red and the Black, which I did not like. But I've liked other stuff that I've read of his, so I do want to go back and revisit that one as well. And I think that's probably, and that's like, I was trying to think of, like what my mind has always been, um, classics is the Greek and Roman
Yeah.
literature, but I can't think of anything of that I've read that I was actually that I've been disappointed with. To be honest, I've enjoyed everything that I've read of that period. So I expanded it a little bit.
Okay. The next question is, what is the longest book or movie you have ever watched or ever read or watched, and was it worth it?
I suppose the longest book that I've read is probably um, Remembrance of Things Past. Again, my mind is just all of a sudden gone blank by the author. Proust. Proust is probably the longest one that I've read, and I really enjoyed it. The longest movie that I've seen would probably be uh, Napoleon, or LaRue, but also Abel Gance. And I've really enjoyed those. So yeah, so I do enjoy big books. But in August, I think I've decided for August to read The Mysteries of London. And I actually want to read it all the way through. Like, I've got the first series, which is about 2,400 pages or 2,500 pages. The second series is about same length. And then there was different authors that wrote the third and fourth series, but the same author that wrote first and second series wrote another. Like, I've got 15 of 20 volumes of it. Uh, Mysteries of the Courts of London, and that he considers as one novel.
Yeah.
So that is my aim, to read through all that, even the ones that were written by the other authors. So we're talking probably 15,000 pages plus for a novel. But yeah, so the ones, the Proust probably would be the longest, and then Les Miserables. Like, I do like long novels. I really do like them. There isn't one that I've read that I haven't really liked, and that's why I want to get to War and Peace at some point, because it's one of the few uh, European literature or long books that I haven't read. The other one that I haven't read fully yet is Clarissa, and I've made 3 attempts on this now. The 2 first attempts, I got shingles each time, and then I realized, well, nothing happened with the other one. But then I realized it did. I got evicted from my old house, so I don't know. So should I even try a 4th time? Like, I didn't get shingles, but I got evicted. So that's a
Yeah,
little scary.
yeah, and I might advise you to try to your next try it when I'm there, just in case, just to make sure that if something happens, you've got help.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Yeah, Alex, you've thank you for the 2K is awesome. Many congratulations, thank you. And we'll get to your question later once we're finished everything else. And anybody else that has any questions, just put them down if you think of them, and then I'll answer them at the end.
Okay, the next question is there an archaeological site in which you'd have particularly liked to have worked but never got to?
Many, but there's two that actually, one I definitely had the possibility of working at, and the other one that I'm sure I could have finagled my way into because of connections that I had. The one was the Franklin for the Franklin expedition that went up in Canada, but I would have had to pay my way there, and I didn't have the money to do that, and I really, really kicked myself of not trying to figure out how to do this. But and also, there's so many, but that was one. And instead, I went to do a Basque whaling site because all expenses were paid. So I did that instead. The other one that I'm sure I could have finagled my way to because it was John LeBand. I think he was teaching. Is it John LeBand that was teaching at Waterloo University? And he was connected, but anyway, it's the excavations at Rorke's Drift that was done, and I could have, I think, been able to do that, and that would have been great.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a possibility, but I think a really good possibility that I could have, like I say, finagled my way on. But the Franklin one I could have done because it was offered to me, but I just couldn't. I couldn't afford it.
Oh, okay. The next question is, what is your favorite civilization or part of history to read about?
Yeah, that's it changes throughout like of my time because I've loved ancient history, Egypt, Greece, Rome, as well as ancient Mesopotamia, the Hittites, just goes on and on and on of the ancient world, and also then into Europe, but British, Iron Age and early and Roman occupation of Britain. All right, so there's a lot of that, but more recently, and it's something that has continued on and it's still continuing, is African history in general, more specifically pre-colonial archaeological Africa, but then more specifically South African history, of the Republic, I guess it's called now still Republic of South Africa, and I really like that history, and everything, like basically right up to, I guess, sort of Second World War-ish, sort of. I started waning interest past that, but the best time for me is the prehistory there, up into the Dutch East India Company, and then through the 1800s, the Zulu Wars, the Boer War, and all that, and that what I'd say is the one that has been a sustained interest for me, and I just can't wait till I get all my African books, history books, on the shelf, and exploration as well, that I've got stuff that I want to start digging into occasionally because I haven't been able to do that for the last couple of years.
Can I just to go off Grix's question? When you talk about South Africa, is it because of the fact that you've got not just the native empires or states, the British obviously and the Dutch, but also the independent Boer republics as well, that makes it interesting? You've got those competing factions as opposed to just a colonial power and a native power. as you would
Yeah,
out in the rest of Africa.
yeah, it's everything, like, because uh it's the whole thing of, the migration of the the peoples,
Bantu,
sorry.
Bantu, is that the
Yeah, the Bantu, and like the coming in, and the Zulu coming in, and all the different languages and everything like that, and sort of, uprooting different people, and then, like, even into Rhodesia with
yeah,
Zimbabwe, the great city of Zimbabwe, all that kind of stuff, that is just and it just was like, it was the end point for the migrations down south, and then it was the uh, part where, Europeans were
yeah,
stopping off with Dutch East India Company, and it's just like a melting pot of all these cultures that have come together, and they can't do that. They're stuck at the end there, at the bottom of the continent. And I just find that fascinating, and so much similarity to the history. Like, once we get into written history of North America as well, very very similar to North American history. And like, I've got articles that are written about comparing battles with the indigenous people there, to battles in you know the Wild West in the United States,
yeah.
with the Native Indians, and it's just because there's so much similarity there between them, and that makes it interesting as well.
Oh, okay. The next question is, what is the what is the riskiest thing you've ever done?
Well, I've done a few, but again, it was kind of a difficult question, and I think the most riskiest one, without even knowing I did this, was near when I was in the Middle East. Well, there were several things I did there, but the one was unbeknownst to me, going to a Chalcolithic site. Sort of, geez, again, my brain. I'm trying to use a brain with this brain fog. Um, it's sort of, copper sort of changeover age, but anyway, it was a key site near the Dead Sea. So I wanted to see this. Like, you can't really see much, but it's just neat to be at the location. So I walked through this place and walked out, and then I found out after that I walked through a minefield and came out through a minefield, and obviously I survived. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, that would probably be the most riskiest thing I did.
Oh, I gotta say, as soon as you said you walked in and out, I thought, yeah, minefield. Oh, and his final question is one I'd like to know as well. When is Desert Island Books returning?
It's a good question. I will be returning to it, but not until I don't like doing it anymore on StreamYard here, because of the dates of it and everything, and the problems with connections. I want to get to a point where I have a monitor that I can use a computer. I do have a good internet connection here now, but I want to do it through, and I always forget the bloody name. What's it called now? There's that other one.
Zoom.
I'm gonna look at it because I've got the. Uh, oh, I can't think of what it is. Um, it's a conferencing thing.
Zoom. Is it Zoom or
Sorry, Zoom,
Zoom?
Zoom. Yeah, yeah. Geez, I can never remember the name of that. But yeah, I want to use Zoom, and I know you have to pay to do a little more, but I think it'll be good. And then I also want to be able to, edit the videos, and that's what I want to do as well, is to be able to edit videos a little bit, not to, do anything grandiose, but to throw up pictures or book covers and things like that. Yeah, Zoom, Alex. Yeah, I just I can never think of it, and it's just my brain sometimes I just can't connect at times. But yeah, Zoom is the biggest thing in having the computer set up, but I need a monitor. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. Hopefully, sometime later this year, fingers crossed. But I don't want to say an exact date of it because I know there's quite a few people that want to be part of it. So um, it'll eventually get back.
Okay. Right. Next question is from Brandy at the Book Tactic, and I think this is probably the most pertinent question to any booktuber. Pants? Question mark.
Yeah, well, I didn't quite understand what that meant. Does it mean pants like being bad, or do I wear pants while I'm doing videos? Well, that is a good question. I'm not answering that part. Yeah. Or are you offering pants? I don't know. That's the thing. It could be any of these things.
Or is she offering pants in the American context as opposed to the British one?
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing I will say because some people may not know it. Pants in the British sense are underwear.
Yeah.
So, and pants are basically pantaloons, I guess you would call them. The long underwear, maybe. Is that still pants? Long underwear? Is long underwear still pants? Because it's still underwear. I don't know.
Yeah.
Too
Or
difficult for me to know.
or they are if Mark's still watching, panties.
Yeah, he loves that word.
Yeah. Right now the next two questions are from Jim Chaplin, who is in the chat. The first one is: could you recommend any books on Canadian history?
Yeah, there's a few. One is newer. There's a really good general history, penguin history of Canada. Um, I forgot because we looked it up just before because I couldn't think of the
James
name.
James Bothwell, I think, was the name
Yeah,
of the author.
and that's good. But anything else, the older ones, for really well written, anything by Pierre Burton. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just he's a fabulous writer, and I've read I think almost everything that he did. I would love to get his books again and reread some of it because I have fond memories of him being a really good writer, and he also there was a TV show that he did, and he they reenacted I think some little bits and pieces of the history, but he told it was a half hour I think show for history. So yeah, so those are the ones that I would say, and like if there's obviously going to be more academic ones or more specific ones, but like I'm so far the last sort of published book that I probably read was the Penguin one, and I was surprised to see that said 2006, but that's the new Penguin one. I think there was an older. I must have read the older one, the older version, because I'm sure I read it before the 2000s. But yeah, but I haven't read much in a long time.
Okay. Right, then the next question. Um, this is also, I should say, this is also from Jim. It feels like we live in a very polarized point of time, politically. Have you ever found it difficult to get on with people you disagree with? Do you have any tips on how to do this?
Yeah, it is difficult at times, but it depends. If the person is open for discussion on things, if you happen to get to that point of discussions, then if they want to discuss and debate something, and even if you find out that you're on the opposite sides of the fence, but you can still discuss this and amicably come to either a mutual disagreement. I think that's fine, and but I don't know if I think it's really difficult to do that with some people,
Yeah,
especially now because they're very polarized, and if they're extremely, you know, blinkered into the one thing, and that everything that they say, and they accuse the other person of something else all the
yeah,
time, then I can't. I just try to avoid those people at all. Or if there is a contention between people that are that I have had friends in the past, that you know that there are touchy subjects, you just, if you either, you either going to break up as friends, or you just avoid those subjects,
yeah,
and you concentrate on things that you like. Like, I had a friend before that was politically very, very much to the opposite side to me, so we just tried not to, talk about politics at all. But we had so much more interest together in music, and in books, in history and things like that, so we were able to converse, and occasionally we got into a little bit of the other stuff. But sometimes, if it is something that's a contention, then I try to avoid it as much as possible. But if everything that's said, then yeah, you just avoid the person. I
yeah.
just don't want any connection, basically.
Yeah,
uh that's the easiest way.
yeah. So same thing. I should say that me and you are politically different. I'm more to the right. You're more on the left. And
Yeah.
I would say we've had conversations. We had one particular conversation a couple of weeks ago about, in fact, it was about African history. We had a very lively debate, but but it was, whilst it was lively, it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, if you can get this, and you can have, opposing viewpoints, but once if the person gets personal, I guess, is the other thing, is like sometimes that happens in comments, and on BookTube or YouTube here, where like, I'm not going to name names, but where the person, you know accuses me of saying one thing, and I haven't said that,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing, and then gets personal, of saying things, then that becomes difficult.
Mm.
And usually I just sort of, if it's engagement, and I try, and then I just stop, because there's no use going any further. You just know that it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Just seen Mark comment.
Well, I'm trying to think. Look, damn, I can't say, 3 Men in a Boat sucks, because I love 3 Men in a Boat. But no, 3 Men in a Boat sucks. But he's spelling Simak sort of probably correctly, the Czechoslovakian way. Oh, that's wrong to say Czechoslovakian. And I go, the Czech way.
Right now, I should just, before I ask these next couple of questions, I should say that this live stream, Sean only came. I think you only came up this afternoon, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah,
And the reason I say that is because all the next questions are ones I commented. So this wasn't planned, by the way. This just just how it worked out. So the first one is, last year you did a birthday live stream with Brandy and Mark, and that was really good. And you had a wish list as well. Are you planning to do that again, because your birthday is on the 1st of April? Am I correct?
yeah. I'd like to do that again. If I do have, I've the wish list is still up there, and it's in every video. If anybody wants to do that again, if they enjoyed, me doing that kind of thing, I really enjoyed it. So, the wish list is up there. There's some sort of kitchen stuff that I still need in my new place. There's some Blu-rays and books. It's just, it was a place that I was starting to throw stuff in occasionally when I saw, but it's not that I need any more books or Blu-rays, but it's nice to have some of this other stuff. And but yeah, I would love to do that again, if if anybody else is willing to, to do this to help me celebrate my birthday. Again, I'll be 57 this year. That just seems impossible. And I was trying to make a list up one time of 60 books to read before I'm 60. I think I'm running out of time to do that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's actually, I've just read Mark's comment. You've been looking for one of them, haven't you? Another monitor.
Yeah, I could, but I don't know if anybody wants to put it on, because I keep wavering between the fact of getting a really, because I'd love to get another TV because I got more space here and everything too, and get one combined, but that's way more expensive. I could put up a monitor if anybody wants to go that far, but that would be, if somebody really wants Desert Island Books to come back. Let's put it that way.
Right. My next question is: are you any wiser to Edgar's true identity?
No, he keeps bluffing me. I thought for a while that he was Edgar Wallace for a while, but I think he's much older than that. I think he's been around and reincarnated many times. We're way back to ancient. I actually think that he could be part of the Gilgamesh epic. I think that's where he started. I wouldn't put it past him. Paddington's been trying to get it out of him, but he's mute on the subject. He doesn't have a bottom jaw, so it's kind of hard at times.
Right. The next question. I think I may know your answer to this, but I'm not quite sure. What is the worst Dracula film you've ever seen?
Yeah, that's pretty easy. I think the one that's based on Dracula specifically is the. I was gonna say Martin Scorsese. No, I can't. Again, my brain's gone.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, that one. That one. I know it's a favorite to a lot of people, but yeah, I detest that one. I don't like it at all. It just, no.
Right. What is the nicest thing you can say about Star Wars?
Two great actors in there, Alec Guinness and Peter Cushing.
And the last question I've got: what are the best and worst book covers you've ever seen?
Well, that's a lot. I think some of the worst ones. It's coming up actually on one of my shelf tours of my CIMAC books. It'll be up, I think, Wednesday or something. But it's the British Science Fiction Book Club ones that are just horrible. And I know they're collectible, but the Golan's yellow book jacket covers, and it's not just confined to the science fiction, but they're usually just they're yellow and with red or orange lettering, and it's just like lazy designs, and then sometimes this abstract designs that you see in books that were sometimes popular in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, those like I don't have anything specific to show, but the best ones, there are lots, and there are some new ones that are good too. Um, but I like the older style, like the pulp sort of style covers, the pulp art type covers that is coming back at times, um, or they're emulating that. Like the what is it? The hard case crime covers are really good. Those are really nice. And like 50s, 60s, and a lot of 70s science fiction books. I really like the covers, or the older mystery crime books. So
Yeah.
it's sort of, I know it's a really broad answer, but that's about the best I can do, I think.
I remember when I was taking some books up, we also had those British detective club reprints,
Yeah,
hardback.
yeah, yeah,
Those the cover on them are really beautiful.
yeah. Those are nice, and they're really good too. The stories, and I kick myself of not getting all the rest of them, and I stopped buying them, thinking, oh, they'll be around. Then they just stopped doing them.
So that is the end of the questions from
Ah,
the
okay.
video. So
We got one back here, and Jenny was saying that she never heard of Clifford Simak. Um, Alex was asking, what is my favorite robot story by Isaac Asimov? Ooh, that's a difficult one. Short story wise, um, that is really really difficult. It's definitely it's a Susan Calvin one. Would probably for the short story ones would have to be a Susan Calvin story. Um, but I can't think, like, I would just say the Susan Calvin short stories would be my favorite ones. It's really hard to pin it down more than that. But I really like the Caves of Steel and the Naked Sun as well. The Elijah Bailey and Daniel Olva novels. Those are really really good. But yeah, that's a tough question. I'd have to probably put a lot more thought into it, and um, yeah, but definitely the Susan Calvin ones because I think she was just a fabulous character he created. Um, let's see if there's any other new questions. No, does anybody else have any other questions?
oh,
Uh, oh,
Mark just got one.
oh, I don't see it here yet.
Oh, it's
Um, Alex is saying it's lovely to be part of your book. Oh, okay, that's come in then. Okay, yeah. What three pre 20th century authors would you like to go down the pub with? Oh, well, one definitely would be John Clare, the poet, if you class him as an author. Um, Balzac, I think, and Victor Hugo. Why not? Victor Hugo, Balzac, and and John Clare. That'd be a good mix.
yeah.
I'm sure they could put away a few pints. Yeah, the Susan Calvin ones are really really good. Yes, Jenny. Yeah, it is. It is.
Along with Dumbass.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. My Shepherd's Calendar is great. If you had to make YouTube videos but not about books or films, what would you make them about? Oh, oh. Um,
Music.
yeah. Well, no, no, no. Well, yeah, that could be one, but probably old time radio.
Mm.
That would be one. Old time radio. Yeah, that would be it. I think that would be one. It would be old time radio. I think that would be it. And then music would be another one, but it wouldn't be sort of modern music. It'll be, you know, pre World War II music, a lot
Yeah.
of stuff, early stuff, folk music or something like that. Not like early folk music, like the Alan Lomax. Alan Lomax. I think it's Alan Lomax. His field recordings.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I would have more poetry. I haven't written much in the last several years. My book now is non existent as a book. So I don't know. I'd like to do some other writing. I've got other ideas, but I just find it difficult every time I get down to try to write something. This long COVID is still, it's just so pervasive in my mind, and it just, I have a difficulty trying to concentrate on things at times, and only a few hours a day. But yeah, there's something like the Mercury Theater would be a great thing to do, a a like a podcast or YouTube video about, something like that. And other, you could do a retrospective of Orson Welles and the radio. He did The Shadow as well. He did The Shadow for a while, and all sorts of other things. Um, if you could visit any country in tomorrow, where would you go? All expenses paid, of course. Well, since we were talking about South Africa, I'd love to go to South Africa. So I'll just say that because that's the one that pops into mind, because I was talking about South African history. That would be a great one to go to. But also, there's other places I'd like to go to. There's in Turkey, Iraq. That was the other thing, that when I was in the Middle East, I guess that was a risky thing that I did. I Because this was just after the first, it was the first or second Gulf War, '92, that I was there.
After the first.
Yeah, and I went to the Iraq embassy in Jordan to see if I could get into Iraq to go to the museums and stuff. And that was an interesting little visit. But yeah, I think it would be South Africa, the one that's on my mind at the moment. Oh, Freeman said Criterion released the Roaring Twenties this month. Bogart and Cagney 4K transfer. Looks, yeah, I didn't know that. The Criterion is now releasing stuff here in the UK, but some of it's like not everything that's in the US. There is one that I want to get, is the Freaks. Is I want to get that, and well, I think that's actually on my wish list. So, but at least that was put out here in the UK as well. Are there any booktubers you would like to meet in person or video chat with? I think a lot of them that I have. Trying to think now. Ones that I haven't. Well, to meet in person, yeah, it would be nice to meet many of them, uh, like uh, Brandy at the book collecting. It would be nice to get together with her. Scott Danielson, like we've done it on video chatting, and Mark as well. Just trying to think now. Anybody else that I haven't, that I would like to. Because most, I think I've spoken to, like, either I speak to on Voxer, or or uh, I have video chatted with them through um, the Desert Island Books. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else that 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 I haven't. But I'm sure that there's going to be some that I um, haven't met yet that I'm gonna enjoy. Yeah, I can't think of. Sorry, I can't think of anybody that I haven't, that I really want to. Uh, yeah, well, Freeman's asking, ever seen a film called Targets? Yeah, Boris Karloff's last movie, just watched recently. Yeah, I did. I've seen that a long time ago, um, but I don't really remember much of it, though. Sadly. Lisa Geraghty's asked, "What are your thoughts on book awards? Are they a valuable indicator of quality?" I I would I think some of them were. I think now there's too much politics involved with it. Uh, and like if I think that up until a certain point, and I don't know when that is, anything that won like a major book award is probably worth looking at, whether you like it or not. But I think it had some merit to it. It's like the for science fiction, the Nebula and Hugo Awards. I think they there were like I don't like. There's times that I go, how did that win over X? But they are some good. Like they're worth looking into. Like all the up until that I would say for sure mid '80s for sure for the Nebula and Hugo Awards. They're definitely worth looking at, and I think they were at that time an indicator of quality. Um, but yeah, today I don't know. I don't follow any of them. It makes no difference to me that if some book has won an award, because there's so many awards too now. Like it's just like what is it, Costco, or no, or no,
Yeah, Costa, the coffee people.
coffee, yeah, has awards, and there's like the mobile phone company Orange has awards and stuff like that. And it's like, really, who cares, uh you know and do I dare say the booktube book award? Maybe I better they well, actually, probably the booktube awards ones were probably would be better than the
Yeah,
like the the Pulitzer Prize ones now, and
yeah.
the whatever ones that I can't think of.
The Booker, definitely better than at least with the book tree one, it's actually been read by other people as opposed to just by academics in English departments.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing, and like it's not probably is politically involved as well. So you get people actually giving their opinions of what they like about it, or about the book, which is to me more valuable than
Yeah,
anything else. But as I say, I just threw that in there because I really don't care about book awards anymore. I do. The only ones that I do still care about are the older Hugo and Nebula awards for science fiction. They're really the only ones that I care about anymore. But up until, like I say, mid '80s, and that would be it.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, still trying to think of the Jenny's out here. Like anybody, I'm trying to think of any other booktuber that I haven't spoken to. I can't quite think of anybody.
The only
Uh,
one I can think of for you to have done a video with would be Michael Cavorn, because I know you talked to him on Voxer, but the actual video itself.
yeah, we did do the Desert Island books. We did do the Desert Island books. Yeah, yeah. Oh, let's go to Jenny's here.
Yeah,
One.
safer question.
How do you feel about modern sci-fi trends like cozy? I'm so out of touch with everything in the science fiction book thing now. And I know that they're doing cozy. I don't quite know what they mean by that when it comes to science fiction. But if they mean something like the thing that I feel when I read Simak, then okay, that's fine. Because I suppose I could call him a cozy read for me. But some of the trends that I hear about, I'm not too happy about because it's very contrived, and it's got all this the modern like the politics of the time really contrived into it. So it's I yeah I don't know enough about it. That's the one thing, and that's why I would like to read more, more recent science fiction. And I have no doubt that there's some good stuff out there still, but it's just I there's still a lot of old stuff that I haven't read, and stuff I want to reread. I want to revisit this, and it's difficult, but I'd like to pop in every so often something new. Um, and what is the most annoying thing about BookTube? Uh, I'm not sure if it's well. There's many annoying things about YouTube as itself. I think the one thing is where I think it's a phenomenon, not just of BookTube. It's that for some reason you see if you look at comments on some people's videos and they are sitting there at their feet of the person who's doing the videos and looking up to them as if they're God. And but if you look at what they've actually said is like, no, they're not. you know and there's a lot of fakeness, not just on BookTube but on everywhere, where and you could tell this, and some people aren't purposely faking it for the video. Some of them are, but they're just fake people to begin with. They will go and go, look at me, look, see what I've just done, see what I've just done. There's a lot of people that do that on social media. And I suppose that's probably one of the biggest things that I dislike. And also too, I guess as a personal thing, is where you see somebody that has a massive following and you just go, how? If I look at somebody who does, science fiction, and they'll do something with classic, and it's like they don't have a clue what they're talking about. How do they have 50,000 subscribers? They haven't even read the book. It's not that you make mistakes. Like I make mistakes every third word that comes out of my mouth, but it's like, but these people just haven't read the books. So that's the one thing that is a little difficult. So don't I could just go on, I suppose, with sort of social media, the things that I get annoyed about. But those I think are the two things. Stay is asking, what's your favorite Laurel and Hardy short film? I don't know if I have a favorite that I can think of off the top of my head. I've seen most, but I can't think of one. I suppose the one that comes to mind all the time is where they, is it that I'm not sure if they're delivering a Christmas tree or something, but they're doing
Yeah, I
something,
know that one.
and they destroy the house, they cut down the trees and everything like that. And it's not so much the film so much, but if you know the story behind it, that they actually, they hired like somebody at the studio's house to do this with, and they said that they'll, replace everything and they'll fix it all up. The guy went on vacation, or the family went on vacation, but they did it to the wrong house. They did it to somebody else's house, and that's, I guess, uh is great.
Yeah.
Oh, Big Business, is that what it's called? I couldn't remember it at the top of my head. Lisa, sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say the first time I ever saw that was at there was a living museum we've got called the Black Country Living Museum, and they've got a small silent cinema, and I saw that on Boxing Day 2020. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's another one that they're trying to get, I think, a piano up of a huge flight of stairs or something like that too. Yeah. Lisa Garrity asks, which translated science fiction authors are worth reading beyond Stanislaw Lem, Jules Verne, Arkady Strugatsky? Those are great. But there are a lot of other ones that are sort of proto science fiction, I guess you would say, that are 19th century. There's a lot of French stuff. If you look up Brian, who just died recently, Brian Stableford, has translated a whole bunch of early French science fiction books. I don't know how great his translation is, but there's a lot of stuff that's really, really neat. And it again is something that only recently in the last like 25 or 30, maybe even less than that, that you can even access any of this stuff in translation, let alone getting the copies of this stuff. So my reading of this stuff, I've always been interested in it, and I occasionally read stuff whenever I could lay my hands on. But it's now there's so much out there. Like, it's mostly on ebook, but I'm hoping some little publisher will come up and start, doing physical copies of some of this old science fiction, as a print on demand, very nice designs. There might be somebody out there that might be listening right now that will do this. But and the ones that I would say is, trying to think, is The Man in the Moon, but it's Moone. I can't think of the name now. But then there's Cyrano de Bergerac, who did, Travels to the Moon and the Sun. They're the science fiction ones, um, that are interesting, and they're worth reading. Um, those have always been translated. There's been a lot of translated stuff, but it's really recently. And sorry, I can't really think of. But if you look up Brian Stableford, the Wikipedia page has a whole list of science fiction books that he's translated, and a lot of those are really cool. I know I've only read not even a handful of them, but I've read about them, or a lot of them, so I'm aware of them, but I've never got around to reading them yet. Um, that must have been fun to explain. Oh, yeah, about the house, destroying it. But yeah, hopefully there is some publisher out there that will start putting out a lot more early proto science fiction stuff. Their MIT Press has been putting out a few things, but I don't know if any of them are translated. Brian Stableford is done a collection of books too, um, of translated material. There's also I.F. Clarke, who he translated a lot of French material as well. Um, but yeah, it's been difficult to find. But if you can read it on ebooks, then the material's out there now, a lot of, and people are translating it. I don't know if there's any other questions.
Not that I can see.
Yeah, it takes a while to show up on my thing when they do post something. But yeah, getting back, yeah, if there is anybody interested in doing the birthday bash thing again that I did, I'd love to do that. So yeah, so I do have a wish list up there, as I say. So, um, and if there's anything else anybody wants specifically to get me, then you can contact me through my email, and either I can put it in the wish list, or we can figure out some other way of doing it. But I'm just trying to say, have I missed anything here?
I just want from Soul Smitherman. Smitherman, I think.
Oh, here we go. Has your move all been completed? We are settling well, and yeah. Well, everything's here, but it's a very slow process of uh, of getting everything unpacked and sorted and put in. Aaron here has been very helpful coming over, lugging books up. It's just I'm very slow at doing it myself, and I still need more bookcases. I need to. My living room still. I'm in the kitchen here because I still haven't got a usable living room yet, and I figure it's probably going to be it's going to be a while. Probably by Christmas, hopefully, I'll have everything sorted. Because, as I say, it's a slow process, because I have to actually get some lumber and build some bookcases as well, because or bookshelves. So a music box. I'm not sure what's.
I think that's the Lauren Hardy one where they put in the piano.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Carl Chapek or Capek is another good one. But yeah, most of his stuff, or a lot of his stuff, is translated because there's RUR, Rossum's Universal Robots, and the War with the Newts are the biggest ones. And yeah, there just might be a publisher out there that will do that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, Lisa, do because that just reminded me because I'm gonna participate in Michael K. Vaughan's Rocket Summer, and I'm going to do a video, and I'm gonna suggest a lot of this old proto sort of science fiction stuff that's from the 1800s because there's a lot of material that's out there that has like the first time a space suit was used in the late 1890s or early 1900s, or the first time a stage a rocket ship stage rockets were
Yeah.
used to interplanetary travel, because prior a lot of times they had other things like balloons and things like that. So there's a lot of really cool material out there to look at, and I'm going to try to hit on some of the more, well, what I suppose what I think are interesting ones. And like I say, and by no means have I read all this stuff. I've read about them in books and just always wanted to read them, but never could.
I've just thought of one of a translated work, the Doctor Omega book, that seems similar to Doctor Who. You remember the French one?
Oh yeah. Well, there's also two that just reminded me. The French one. It's what is it? Automata or something. It's basically it's Jules. It's very similar to Jules Verne's Time Machine as well. Not sure what this one is, but you can go. John Kane, have you seen the latest book of Nick Gers on the doctrine? Don't
Mm.
know. I don't know Gers. Is the doctrine a series of science fiction? A series? I'm not familiar with that. Don't know what that is. You looking it up there?
Yeah, having a look. I can't see anything.
Oh, he has multiple audiobooks. Okay. I'm not a huge. I do listen to some, or I have listened to audiobooks, uh, but I'm not sure.
No. So
Yeah, so I'm not familiar with it. I know audiobooks are a big thing. I like more older ones. There's a few authors that I like reading certain ones, but I just it's not a big thing for me, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know them at all. That's been a while since we've had bots or spam people in live chats. Anyway, if there's no other questions, I think we'll sort of end it there. And as I say, links if you want to send me an email, or wait a few more minutes to see if there's any other questions. But I think maybe an hour and 15 was probably enough. of answering questions. Uh, People have said that I just need a flat cap and maybe a little flatter nose. But
Oh, I know, okay now. I said Nick is. It's
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I get it now. Yeah,
When do we do have your next live? Okay, the next live stream for sure will be for yeah, we're getting a lot of these idiots
yeah,
on here, seems. Um, uh, the next live stream definitely will be for the next two stories of of Simac City census and desertion on Saturday. I'm not sure who's going to be. Um, uh, I'm not sure who's going to be guests, but we'll see.
yeah,
And I think it's time to go because we're getting inundated by bots here.
yeah,
So I do apologize for that. I'm trying to delete them as they come up. But anyway, yeah. So thanks everybody for stopping by. And as I say, because I don't know if that's sort of
Oh,
uh,
Alex has got a question. Sorry.
okay.
Um,
Yeah. Favorite British Library science fiction book. Ooh, they're all good in different ways. They're all really good because they're thematic ones. I like the one on crimes. I think it is. There's crime. There's a crime one, and but there's also ones that are set on the moon and Mars. There's sort of bug-eyed monster. Yeah, they're all really good. It's really difficult um, to see to to say which one at the moment. I love your 28 days of SF videos. How long have you been collecting SF nonfiction reference books, etc.? Well, the main part of this collection is stuff that I've had for probably 30 years. Like sometime in the 80s, I started collecting some stuff, but it was only what I have here is a bit of a fraction of what I originally all had. And then I've finally was able to get it shipped over from Canada. Um, and then I've added to it. So a long time I've been collecting that because I got tired of science fiction sort of in the late '80s of reading new stuff. So then I started delving more into the history of science fiction. And thanks, yeah, I'm glad that it's of interest. Like now we're into the fiction stuff, and then I think after that I'll move on to um, the film. Uh, uh, I need to, yeah, I need some work there, but I think I'll go on to film books because the two things that never been seen on my channel were the science fiction books that I had, and the film books. Really, they've never been seen. So those are definitely the ones I'm going to do. Yeah, the moon one is really good. I think they might be stopped doing them now. I'm not sure. They Postscript I think has them or most of them as remainders. So, and I want to see if I'm not sure if I've got them all yet, but it would be nice to make sure I do because once they disappear, they'll go up in price. But anyway, thanks everybody for stopping by. And as I say, the next live stream definitely will be or there'll be some sort of a live stream on Saturday discussing the next two books by, or not, the next two stories by Clifford Simak, and then hopefully um, hopefully a birthday one. We'll see what happens there. And Dennis says, "Well, we're getting back to Friday reads live streams." Well, yeah, we may do. We may shift those actually. I don't know if Mark is up for doing that. He was doing his Sherlock Holmes one, so um, you ask Mark about that too. So yeah, so I think that's it. So again, thanks everybody. Maybe we'll wait and see if Mark's still there if he replies.
You may have fallen asleep.
Well, I know he's got he's I don't think he minds me saying it's been hit by COVID the third time. So
All right.
yeah, he's probably asleep. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Bye. Bye.